I want to be a part of it.
New York.
New York.
That was something, boys.
You are Locked On Blue Jays, your daily Toronto Blue Jays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yankees lose.
Definitely not, getting on Broadway anytime soon. But, what a feeling. Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jays. Today, we are breaking down the series. I forgot my first line. What the hell do I normally say on the show? It's just
thanks for making Locked On Blue Jays your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. That's all I know. I couldn't rip it from
our
there,
team
but
every day. Yeah, it's just crazy feelings right now on the podcast. Obviously, the Blue Jays have beaten the New York Yankees in Game 4, advancing to the ALCS for the first time since 2016. I'm on top of the moon. My mind is going a mile a minute. I'll throw it over to you, Brayden. How are you feeling?
Dude, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling real good. I did want to mention this. We can't throw everything out the window. Today's episode, from the best ticketing app you can get, Game Time, baby. Download it now. Create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB, $20 off your first purchase. So make sure you guys go do that. Holy smokes, boys. I'm cooking. I don't know the last time I felt this good. I feel like I've had 19 energy drinks. It's a Saturday night and I'm buzzing right now, but it's a Blue Jays win. I'm over the moon. As always, Brayden Wasco, Carter first, Skylar Peters, Brayden 5 Wasco, Carter first 2, Skylar A. Peters, and our main Twitter account at Locked On Jays. You can follow us anywhere, Locked On Blue Jays, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. A lot more podcasts coming to you guys as we continue through this wild playoff here. So let's get right into it, boys. Thoughts, feelings, Skylar, my man. You sort of heard from us. We're all over the place. How are you doing?
I'm feeling great, fellas. We had the live pod yesterday. I you know what? I didn't even listen this morning to you boys with the post game. We all know what happened. And just like the end of the regular season, when you think things are slipping away, we got this bullpen game suddenly against a guy that went 8 scoreless with 12 strikeouts and Cam Schlittler. A week ago against the Red Sox, the Blue Jays pull us back in. The sky is not effing falling. And now you can start spreading the effing news. We're going to the ALCS games 1 and 2 at the Rogers Center, regardless of who wins Game 5 on Friday between the Tigers and the Mariners, man. And it's been a long wait for so many people across this country. We've watched bad baseball teams. We've watched careers fizzle out from the glory days. The Troy Tulowitzkis of the world come to mind. We've watched playoff disappointments, and this is why you do it. And there's still 8 more to go, fellas, but nothing feels better than doing it against the New York Yankees.
And of all years that this was going to happen, the Blue Jays advancing to the ALCS, I don't think anyone had that being in the year of 2025 with how good the team was in 2021. The expectation all the way through, really up until this year, where the expectation finally dropped off and people wrote off the Toronto Blue Jays, did not have them making the playoffs. I mean, the win total was at 78.5 wins going into this season. Easiest over of all time. Scrappy team, never out of a game, coming back in every single game. You're getting production from everyone throughout the order. And it happened again. We've had big moments from Vladimir Guerrero Jr., had another one in this game, had big moments from Varsho, Trey Savage, obviously, just short amount of time ago. That guy setting franchise records. And this time it's another player, again, not really getting a lot of love throughout his career, really been a career minor leaguer for the most part, but it's Nathan Lucas coming up in the 7th inning, hitting a ball at the letters, 96, into right field, scoring 2. And that was the moment for me. It truly sat in with me that this team was going to go to the ALCS. What a team.
Boys, you know what? Like, for as much grief as we just gave this bullpen on the last episode, I mean, you got to give a few shout-outs. This bullpen as a whole, keeping the Yankees to only 2 runs, I mean, is absolutely massive. But the way that John Schneider handled this game, I mean, he pulled the guys in the right situations. He knew his matchups. He knew what he wanted, and the boys were able to get it done for him, right? So huge hat tips to how he's evolved as a manager. But just the bounce back, I want to touch on Louis Varland in specific. He's the guy that went to John Schneider after the last game, after he didn't have his best day, and he said, "Give me the ball. I want it. I want the first inning. I want to face their best." And he did the job. And you really, really got to give all these guys credit for the way that they've worked and battled and went through their ups and downs. I mean, this bullpen in August was just horrendous. This offense through struggles, the starters through struggles, and everybody willing to bounce back, being able to bounce back and do it in the biggest moment in a game that, Carter, you said this before, but you just had Shane Bieber going yesterday and you think, wow, this is the moment to cap it off. But instead you have to do it with a bullpen day. It's next man up. It's every man up mentality for this ball club. This was just, boys, I honestly can't tell you the last time I felt like this. It was Jose Bautista flipping the bat to Mars was probably the last time. So what a moment, what a series, and to do it against the Yankees, like you two have said, all the better. Yeah,
you know what? I love going right back to your flamethrower, your big guy in Louis Varland in the first inning, because when we say bullpen day, and I think folks who've just tuned in for this Blue Jays run, which I like is the best part about the Blue Jays in the playoffs, is seeing all the jerseys walking down. There's jerseys in my office today from people I didn't even know were Blue Jays fans, right? But they might not know bullpen day means we got Eric Lauer in the bullpen, right? Like this guy at some point saved our season. We wouldn't have 94 wins. We wouldn't have tied for the division and won on the tiebreak without Eric Lauer. Started the year in the bullpen, became a starter, stabilized the rotation when we were dealing with the Max Scherzer injury, went right back to the bullpen, no problem at all. And what I thought, honestly, this game was going to be maybe an opener, and then Eric Lauer takes the bulk of the innings. Like I was thinking between Louis Varland, once we knew that he was going to be named the starter, and Eric Lauer, I thought maybe that's going to get us through 5. No, what a job by John Schneider and Pete Walker, pitching coach. The camera was on them all night. They made the right moves at every single point, brought in the right guys for the right time, didn't hesitate to make the decision. And, Eric Lauer, factoring into this by a magnitude of 18, 19 pitches tonight, whatever it was. Oh, by the way, I'm not looking at stats tonight. I'm just going off 5s. Is incredible. And to do it against the highest scoring offense in the league in their park. I think, after last night, the way it ended, some people might have forgot that we're the team up 2-1 in this series. We had to assert our dominance. We did that with Louis Varland in the first. John Schneider took him out at the right time, gave the ball to Mason Fluharty, and from there it was just perfect pitching decision after pitching decision. And the offense did what it's done all year, strings hits together. And even without the long ball tonight, found a way to beat the Yankees.
It was absolutely massive. The all-in-one mentality we saw again, and just looking at it from the bullpen as well. You use 8 different guys to get 9 innings worth of outs. Just unbelievable stuff. Louis Varland, Mason Fluharty, Seranthony Dominguez, Eric Lauer, Yariel Rodriguez, Brendan Little, Brayden Fisher, and to cap it all off with a little bit of heart-wrenching, a little bit of tearing your hair out. We're definitely sitting on the edge of your seat, but with Jeff Hoffman getting the job done. That's 9 innings of only 2 runs scored in that game. 10 strikeouts, 5 walks. Those are one of the 2 stat lines that I'm going to give out tonight because I agree with Skylar. It's mostly a vibes podcast. Just looking at what those guys did, it's hard to feel bad about anything that went on in that series. But you're right. It's actually it was a crazy narrative change. And think this is a little bit due to the Yankees fans. Maybe it's a little bit of arrogance. Maybe it's truly believing in your team and never being out of it. But after the way, and that's obviously the way the game happened as well. You're up 6-1, you lose that game. You're not going to feel good after that baseball game. But I said it on yesterday's podcast, every single time this season, whether it's been late in the season when you lose 6 out of 7 and you're not scoring runs whatsoever, whether it's going on a 5-game losing streak early on this year, every single time you thought this team was going to fall apart, was going to start to fall off a little bit, they stormed back that next game, proved people wrong every single time. And that's why I was confident again. Every single time you've been on the Toronto Blue Jays, they have pulled you right back in. And that is exactly why the ability to get punched in the mouth and punch right back is why the Toronto Blue Jays have found themselves in this position.
Boys, this has been just unbelievable. And I want to take a moment here, not for this ball club, but for the fan base here. Canadians, people that are not from this country that choose for the Toronto Blue Jays to be their team. The ride or dies we've seen, the people that have been with, our podcast, friends, family of ours, all cheering for them. It really, there's nothing that brings a community together in a whole country than baseball. I mean, as much as, we're all hockey guys as well, right? There are a lot of teams here in Canada. There isn't that for baseball. There's one team.
Oh, it's dividing the province of Alberta tonight. Flames and Oilers up in Edmonton. I haven't even looked. The party's still going on TV on Sportsnet. I haven't even looked at the score of the Battle of Alberta.
That's right. It's just massive. I mean, you talk to people at work. I've gotten so many great text messages, and I wanted to highlight one just because we sometimes lose time with the amount of podcasts, with the amount of baseball games. Maybe to reply to all you, but Kaylee, this is left us just a great message on Instagram. Huge ball fan. Been with us for as long as I can remember. I've been seeing her on our Instagram page. Just a super nice message and an avid watcher of this Toronto Blue Jays team. And there's a ton of you guys out there. And to stick with this club after the last game, after the Yankees fans are probably yelling at you in the comment sections, for you to ride with this team, man, that shows a lot of grit from this fan base, not just this ball club. So I am just over the moon with everything that's happened. I had almost no words, which is a crazy thing to say, boys.
Toronto Blue Jays bringing people together. We had somebody in our comment section asking Skylar if we wanted to come over for some beers to watch the playoff games. We've had people in our comment sections saying like they like the podcast, saying that obviously like we've made them enjoy the Jays just a little bit more. And that's exactly why that we do this podcast. We want to be a space where we can just, do this, talk about it, bring people together. And we see you guys commenting. There was like 150 comments on our last podcast. I didn't respond to all of them because that would have taken forever, but I read every single one of them. We appreciate everything that you guys do for us. And you guys are the reason that we're able to do this right now. Talk about the Blue Jays, talk about our favorite baseball team, and live and die with these moments. And definitely living on this one, though. Living on the Yankees head, smoking that Yankees pack tonight. I know Skylar was definitely already doing that earlier on before we got on this podcast. But Skylar, any just, initial reactions before we dive into the second segment?
I guess just, when the way that the Blue Jays lost on Wednesday night, and we were doing the live pod and things were looking good when I signed off. I think it was at the end of 3 and it was 6-2, 6-3 at that point. There was some conversation about Shane Bieber, but really what, in my opinion, lost the Blue Jays that game 3. And, we could have done this last night was the defense. But the thing with the Blue Jays is you look at those defensive misplays, the 4 errors, if they counted that one that went under Vladdy's glove as an error or not, whatever, that's an aberration because you've seen this team time and time again. They are the best fundamental baseball team in the major leagues. And when you see Jazz Chisholm let one go under him that ends up scoring 2 runs, giving the Blue Jays what was a 4-run cushion at the time, and really allowing a lot of us to breathe a little bit easier as we got into the high leverage innings in this game, that is who the Yankees are. And, I think the fact that they won 94 games, I don't think Yankees fans can sit easy and just think they can homer away all of these problems. Whereas the Blue Jays tonight, no home runs. Obviously, first 2 games of the series, we saw a lot of offense at home. When that's there and they're battling in strikes, fouling pitches off. We saw, a 10-pitch at-bat from Anthony Santander tonight. He took 16 pitches in his first 2 at-bats against Cam Schlittler. Things like that are what we come to expect from the Toronto Blue Jays. I don't expect that to deviate from the norm, no matter who you're playing in the ALCS and potentially the World Series. This is a team that can go a long distance, and hopefully there's 8 more of these podcasts to come, and a hell of a party on the 8th one if it happens, boys. But we'll start with one on Sunday night.
That's right. We have a lot more to come. We're going to break down the offense, talk about some big plays, the defensive plays that were game changers, some of the at-bats. Stick with us. We're going to continue. It's going to be great. Have some fun. Leave us your comments, thoughts, feelings down below. We'll be right back after this.
Today's episode is sponsored by Rougiette Go Long. Guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, it's time to meet Rougiette Go Long. Rougiette Go Long comes in exactly where you guys need it. It isn't just another ED pill. It's a total game changer for confidence. Go Long combines 2 doctor-trusted medications in one dual-action formula so you can get hard and go the distance. The effects last up to 36 hours, and that's confidence all day, all night, and even into the next day. Ready to level up your confidence in the bedroom? Head to rugiet.com and use promo code LOCKEDONMLB for 15% off your first order. That is rugiet.com. Promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Make sure you use our code so that they know that we sent you.
So, boys, as we continue on here, I did want to get into the offense just because, it wasn't the one that's going to pop off the page to you. It's not going to be the massive home runs that you see, guys on the live stream going nuts over. It's not going to be that type of baseball game. It's going to be the little plays, the things that this team has done all season that's done well. Skylar, you hit the nail on the head. Fighting in 2-strike counts, fighting at bats. Anthony Santander 0 for 3 today, but some really, really solid at bats. You love to see that from him. He was battling, he was fighting. A guy that is a bad ball hitter was doing a lot of that, fouling off bad pitches that could have been a strikeout earlier, but instead he battles and he wears out the pitchers. But boys, let's start with Nathan Lucas. I mean, we got to start there. This is the biggest hit of his career, a huge hit to push this team to this series win. So I don't know who wants to kick Carter. I'll give it to you. I know he's your boy. He's the guy that you've been riding with since early on this season. Let's hear from you. What do you think? What do you got to say about him?
Yeah, there's a specific type of hitter just in the MLB that I don't know, I gravitate towards. It's the Ernie Clements, it's the Nathan Lucas, the guys that really have those scrappy at bats, and maybe not like they're not the most skillful players of all time. Like they're not going to have 120 miles per hour off the bat exit velocities necessarily, but for damn sure that they're going to give their full effort. They're going to try their hardest. They're going to foul off pitches, and they're not going to roll over or give in at any time. And that's exactly what Nathan Lucas has done throughout his entire career. This guy's been battling to be in this position, to be not necessarily an everyday player, but to help his team win day in and day out. And when he's put in situations, whether it's against the righty, well, even you could throw him in against the lefty at this point. If it's in the 2 spot, it's in the 7 spot, if it's left field, right field, center field, no matter where you put this guy, he is going to be productive. And he has been a very clutch hitter for the Toronto Blue Jays. Easily, for me, the biggest hit of his life. He'd probably tell you that as well. Just you couldn't feel better for a guy that's battled his way to get to this point.
And one more thing on Nathan Lucas, I'll go to my kind of hero of the game. Nathan Lucas is a guy that I thought was going to be off this roster, potentially designated for assignment back in, late May, early June. We think of, him breaking camp with the team was probably only because of the Daulton Varsho injury. The fact that he's carved out a role on this team speaks to the versatility of this lineup. I don't think Nathan Lucas would have done this on the New York Yankees, but he is never going to be in the minor leagues again after what he's delivered throughout the season and in the big moments of the postseason. But I guess just to move on to another guy that I thought an awesome game today was Alejandro Kirk. Obviously, he had the big double. He got to stroll in to second base. For Alejandro Kirk, that's a good piece of hitting right there. Planted it right in the left field corner, and then obviously came around to score in that inning as well. But in particular, 2 things that really stood out to me was his framing with Jeff Hoffman. There were 2 balls that were called strikes because of his framing ability, and then also a huge block off the bottom of his mask that prevented runners from going first to second and third, although it was Giancarlo Stanton on second, one of the slowest runners in the league, of course. I think that was a huge moment. We didn't allow the Yankees back in it, and I thought Alejandro Kirk defensively was probably the biggest cog in that wheel tonight.
Yeah, you got to applaud the team. I mean, you talk Alejandro Kirk and the defensive play he made, which is something he's been doing all season. He's been fantastic behind the dish, but some other massive plays. I mean, the one that Vlad made at first base to scoop that ball, get down, still get the throw off to Jeff Hoffman is an absolutely massive play. And there were many this game. I mean, there's a couple that Daulton Varsho's ranging back to the warning track. If that ball gets down or something like that, weird things can happen when a ball's hit that deep. In a big moment, he's able to make catches. The Andres Gimenez, when the ball's going, the same one that killed this team in game 3, same type of hit. Andres Gimenez goes over, takes control of the field, as the shortstop should do, takes control of that field, gets the catch, gets the job done. That doesn't breathe any more life into this Yankees team. So, yeah, you know what? Not only offensively, boys, the defense tonight was superb, and this is the defense we've been hoping to see. That game 3 sort of took it all away from us, but they gave it back to us in game 4.
That's the Blue Jays MO. We were saying it after the game 3, because that's just, again, random. Like, that's just, it never happens. Whereas the Yankees, it felt like more of a guarantee that you were going to get a play like that. And we finally got our play in this game. Thank you to Jazz Chisholm. That ended up being a big play, obviously, for the Toronto Blue Jays. Long awaited. This team has been defensively sound for this entire season. For the last 3 seasons, to be completely honest, they'll probably win the Team Gold Glove again. 3-time champions. Again, we're looking for something a little bit different this year. Hopefully some more hardware, some bigger hardware. But this defense has always stood true for this team, and you saw it once again. Andres Gimenez, if it was going to be anyone catching that ball, you want it to be Andres Gimenez. Not the easiest play, ranging very far into foul territory. But I said I had 2 stats for this night. I guess I technically have 3, but I wanted to go into 2 guys that just had unbelievable series. The first one has to be Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 3 home runs in 4 games. I was hoping that he would have another one just to kind of cement the legacy even farther against the Yankees. But he goes 9 for 17, 529 average, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs, a 1609 OPS. And again, another one of my dogs, the guy that some people writing off this entire season, playing through injuries, just that gritty mentality that I love. Ernie Clement barreled up every single baseball, it felt like, in the series. Just hitting balls hard, pull side, exactly what Ernie Clement does. Hitting doubles, had the home run, obviously, but hit 643 with 9 hits, a home run, 5 RBIs, and 5 runs scored in his 4-game series. Another guy that people did not really have on this roster whatsoever. Did not have him as an everyday player, a guy that you have to throw in this lineup because there's no other option. He is forcing his way in this lineup the way he is playing. The defense is unbelievable. You can throw him anywhere on the diamond. You get that offensive prowess, especially on these left-handed pitchers. I mean, clearly there is a huge need for Ernie Clement, and he has been so valuable to this baseball team and its success.
The one thing on Vladdy, his 9 RBIs are close to a division series record. The record is 11, and it was set like 45 years ago. They said the name on the broadcast, but I can't remember who it was. May I remind you that this series only went 4 games. Like, if this was going back to Toronto in Game 5, we'd be expecting Vladdy to break that record, because that was probably what we needed to deliver us into the ALCS. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about that. And Ernie Clement just doing it against lefties and righties was so impressive this series. I mean, thought of as, like a bench guy, 25th, 26th man, platoon guy maybe. And now you can't take him out of the lineup on for both sides, the hitting and the defense, and has really shored up this lineup, obviously without Bichette, which I think we'll probably get into as we start to preview the series over the next couple of days against either the Tigers or the Mariners. But just such a great job, both sides of the plate, a complete game. There wasn't one player in this series that, took the 4 days off. And I think that's a big reason why the Blue Jays are in the ALCS, because the Yankees just can't say the same.
Boys, before we get into the third segment here, there's one more guy that I really want to point out. And again, it's all season. A guy nobody had on their opening day roster. Nobody wanted him even to be on this ball club or within this organization at the start of this season. That's Myles Straw. What he's able to do off the bench, night in, night out, defensively, what he's able to do, just the guy that he is. And you know what? We read the story out in the podcast from Myles Straw, how he went, his wife had their baby, and he came back for the inter squad games to make sure he was ready to go. He's really putting it all out there, and just a class act player. And to see him have success, and even the post game when Hazel's going around talking to everybody, just the
he was battling in the post game. He got a lot of champagne in his eyes in short order.
He was hurting.
It was awesome.
Class act player. He says nothing but good things about his teammates. I mean, he never takes any accomplishment for himself. It's all, these guys are giving us the ability to do our jobs. This team is built on class act players and players that you want to have in your clubhouse. That a lot of these guys you probably want to go have a beer with. George Springer. It's just a great feeling. It's a great ball club. Kevin Gausman shouting. I can't say what Kevin Gausman said.
Yeah, I think every other word would have to be bleeped out. But I mean,
him and John Schneider were getting their swears per minute in quick.
Yeah, they were taking their fines. If you're going to take a fine,
good.
You might as well get it all worth it.
I mean,
right?
if you win the ALDS the way they did, I think anything goes. Like, I'm okay with that.
But him shouting out Canada and the fans, again, everything is for the fans. Everything is for the teammates. It really is just such a good feeling, only to come out of this with a win, but just the culture that we know is embedded in this team now is really just something special. I'll get a thought from each of you guys before we kick off to the third segment. Talk a little bit about, the guy that we were hoping was going to get some playing time as we move on to the third segment.
I'll just say, I watched Hazel interviewed Davis Schneider and Addison Barger in the room together, and you talk about having a beer with guys. It looked like I was like talking to you two in your basement after, a brutal game of Pong, an absolute battle, and a series win by you two probably. But like that just speaks to this team, man. Davis had his shirt off, chest hair flowing. Those guys were so excited. It's the first ride for everybody. For most guys on this team, obviously, to go this far with the Toronto Blue Jays, it's the first ride for everybody in this organization, really. But it's just so special to see this night in and night out, and such an easy team to cheer for. I didn't think, playing the New York Yankees that we would need any help in that regard. Might be a little bit tougher, especially with a tight series against the Tigers or all those Canadian fans up on the West Coast that do cheer for the Seattle Mariners. But I think there's going to be a lot of momentum behind the Toronto Blue Jays as we get down to the final 4 teams left in the MLB.
For me, like when I hear these players just do interviews, if it's John Schneider, no matter who it is, the first thing they always say is how close the clubhouse is, how much people love each other. So clearly there is an emphasis on that. And clearly that matters. If every single player in that clubhouse, guys that are veterans, Max Scherzer, Kevin Gausman, guys that have been around this league for a very long time, are saying this is one of the closest clubhouses we've ever been in. This is one of the best clubhouses we've ever been in. Clearly, there is some merit there, and you see it all the time. Like one thing that I will always draw back on is Trey Savage when he had his post-game interview in the playoffs. Who is waiting for him in the dugout right after? It's Miles Straw, waiting right by the stairs, waiting for his boy that just went out and they're dominated to come back and celebrate with the boys. Like Louis Varland's doing an interview. Yariel Rodriguez is spraying champagne right in his eye. I don't know how John Schneider got a word out because he was getting waterboarded by the amount of Budweisers that were getting poured on that guy's head. So clearly, like Max Scherzer's getting it too. All the guys, Kevin Gausman's running around with the shirt off. It's a lot of fun watching those post game. Obviously, when you win a playoff game, they have their celebrations. When you move on to the next series, that's one of my favorite parts about watching, and especially when it's against the New York Yankees. Couldn't have been a better week or so, just under a week, I guess, of baseball that we were watching.
So, boys, I don't want to push this like we're going to completely tee up the next series. Obviously, we can't do that. But some now big feelings and possibly massive players coming back for the following series. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We're going to chat all about some of those guys and the impacts they could have. Today's episode brought to you by Game Time. Everybody's going to want to get their tickets. Blue Jays, ALCS, nothing better. And there's nothing like catching a baseball game live. The energy, the crowd, the chance to see your team in person. But actually getting those tickets, that's the tough part. Queues, login screen, surprise fees. Takes all the fun out of it. That's why I and everybody I know uses Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. That's the best part for me. I can't stand going in thinking, oh, I'm going to pay this price, and then it's, the checkout, it's an extra $20, $30 on top of everything. Game Time doesn't do that. They're the best ticketing app in the game. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDON MLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. So, boys, as we continue on here, the possibility of the Bichette return, Chris Bassitt, Jose Berrios, all these massive pieces to your ball club, Ty France, I'll throw in there, have a chance to return. This was the goal. You had to set yourself up to get these guys back because getting these guys back could be that extra little bit. And I know this team's been unbelievable offensively. Now imagine that team with Bichette slotted right in. It does not get better than that for me. Carter, how important to you right now, or I'll preface that, do you think or do you not think Bichette will return?
It definitely matters. Obviously, Bichette is a very good hitter, but I don't think they could have nobody. It doesn't matter who they have. Like it could be the Nathan Lucas show and Ernie Clement. Like those could be their headlining players. I still think that they'd be able to win baseball games. So I don't really think like who it matters personnel wise. I think this team's just hot right now. I think this team is on fire. I don't think anything can really stop this. Saying that, is Bichette coming back going to help this baseball team? Absolutely, it's going to. If I have him in the 4 spot compared to whether it's Kirk, Santander, it's definitely not going to be Santander anymore. But whoever it ends up being, like I am going to be a lot more confident having Bichette, who has been the best clutch hitter, has been the best run producer on this baseball team. So does it matter? Absolutely. Do I want to see Bichette back? For sure. Is it the end of the world if he's not back? Clearly not, because we saw what this offense did against the New York Yankees. 34 runs in 4 games. If you put up those type of numbers, you're going to be successful against any single ball club.
Yeah, Bichette played in a simulated game. I think both Chris Bassitt and Jose Berrios were a part of that on Wednesday. They flew down and joined the team and obviously watched these last 2 games in the Bronx. Sounds like he's turned a bit of a corner in his recovery. There's 4 more days now before we kick off the ALCS. I would be floored if he's not on the roster, regardless of if maybe he's in the lineup for games 1 and 2, that sort of thing. But you can't understate adding the guy that was going to lead the American League in hits, was going to lead the American League in doubles, gave both of those up to Bobby Witt Jr. after his injury, and only lost the AL hit lead by a number of 3, despite missing the last 3 weeks of the season. A huge add. He should be fired up to return, obviously, with his contract situation. An October moment might add a couple more dollar bills onto that number wherever he gets paid this winter. But right now, he's a Toronto Blue Jay focused on helping this team, and with the pitchers coming in too, more options. Probably won't be looking at this game 4 bullpen game type of scenario. and a little more flexibility for John Schneider. I think we can go with one less reliever and certainly give that lineup a little bit more stability in terms of starting pitchers.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think these guys are massive components to this team's success. I don't want to say that it doesn't matter. It definitely does. I definitely want him there. But Carter, I totally get your point of this team's hot right now, and it looks like it would take a freight train to stop them. But in saying that, Bichette, Chris Bassitt, I mean, if you could have realistically, you look at this 4 games here that against the Yankees, and you tell me that you would have had Chris Bassitt instead of going into a bullpen day before, I probably would have told you absolutely you take that. Obviously, it worked out the other way, but at the end of the day, I think you're much more confident being able to throw Chris Bassitt and not have to rely on somebody from the bullpen, maybe in this scenario. As much as I love Tommy Nance and Justin Brule.
Justin Brule would be the guy.
But it would be Justin Brule. Yeah. And so maybe Jose Berrios comes back onto this roster as well. Then another guy goes. We'll have to wait and see how this all shakes up over the next few days and how these guys are feeling. But realistically, it's always a good thing when you can get the players back. Boys, not a ton of time left, obviously. Carter, Skylar, I want to sort of last word, last thought, last feeling from you two.
M's or Tigers, boys? M's or Tigers? Who do you want to win on Friday? Who do you want to face the Blue Jays come to Toronto on Sunday night?
Tigers.
You got School Bowl Game 5 going in that series. The offense, comparing both of them, like would you rather have Randy Rosarina, Eugenio Suarez, Cal Rowley, Julio Rodriguez, or like Kerry Carpenter, who's not like a bad player, Riley Green? Like they have some guys that can hit, but I just think if you're looking at the entire offensive lineup, especially the pitching with the Mariners, like there's like 3 or 4 guys, especially if Brian Wu comes back, I'm definitely worried about. When you look at the Tigers, it's Skubal. Yeah, they have some other guys that can throw, but I think it's a lot more attackable if you get the Tigers. But at the end of the day, I mean, that's out of the Blue Jays' hands. Whoever they're going to get in front of them, they're going to have a very good chance against. My final words actually are going to be, don't understate Ty France. I think Ty France would actually have a pretty good value for this team if and when he does come back, especially late in the game as a pinch hitter.
No, couldn't agree more with the Tigers notes. Keeping an eye on Ty France, boys. I am fired up to be doing this for at least, 10 more days with you guys and hopefully a little bit longer. It's been a hell of a ride already, and we've only played 4 postseason baseball games. But it's nice when you're on the winning side, fellas. And, we haven't seen that since we took over this podcast, obviously. And I think, obviously, with the people in the comments, they've been appreciating it too. And let's just keep this thing rolling.
Yeah, as always, we'll wrap things here. I want to thank every single one of you that have been riding with this podcast, since opening day, or whenever you jumped in and joined us. You guys really have been killing it. The comments, some of the laughs that me and Carter get. Sometimes we'll yell from room to room and be like, "Do you see this one?" And we'll laugh about it.
Every single time we both seen it, because we read every comment anyway.
Yeah, we literally get the notifications pop up on the phone. We both see it at the same time. We're like, oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. So we love them all. We love them all. Leave your comments down below. Give us your predictions for the next series. Give us who you want it to be. Tell us everything. You leave us paragraphs. We'll read them. We'll take it all in, and we'll probably bring some of them onto the pod. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching, listening, whatever you do. And we'll be back with you tomorrow, and we'll start teeing everything up.